Hello and welcome to The Print. This is Fareeha Iftikhar, and today we have with us Professor Amit Chakma, who is the Vice-Chancellor of University of Western Australia. The university is soon setting up its 2 campuses in India under the Global International Expansion of scheme by Indian government. One will be in Mumbai, another will be in Chennai. So Mr. Chakma is there with us today to discuss the vision and plan of its India campuses in detail. Welcome to The Print, sir.
Thank you.
So first of all, my question is, this is the first time University of Western Australia is going global.
Yes.
So what made India your first choice?
Well, very easy. At a very personal level, I'm almost an Indian. Had there not been a petition in '47, then I'd be an Indian. So I have, good understanding of the country, but I also have a global vision sense. So then, if you look at it more in pragmatic terms, Australia and India actually are very close to each other in many sense. We share the Indian Ocean. And when you look at the Indian Ocean rim countries and look for highly ranked universities, we are one of them. So while we are part of Australia, we also historically felt that we are also part of the region. Example of that, outside of Western Australia, the largest number of alumni we have are in Singapore, not in Sydney, not in Melbourne, in Singapore.
Okay.
So that gives you a little bit of sense of how we look at it. So now, coming to the decision now, there are a number of factors that just makes it very logical for us to choose India. The relationship between India and Australia have been very good for many, many reasons. But fundamentally, we are complementary to each other. Things that Australia has, India needs. There are things that India has, Australia needs, so complementarity. And, whether it's resources India needs, coal, other things, minerals. Australia needs market, India has market. But Australia also needs talented people, and our population is small. India has vast number of talented people.
So then why Chennai and Bombay? Why Mumbai?
Well, part of it is our familiarity. We get a lot of students from southern part of India.
Okay.
So that's one. So we are familiar. Second part of it is, just to see where there will be better alignment, a better need. So if you think of Delhi, we looked at Delhi.
Okay.
But there are a lot of players, Southampton, for example, and others. So we felt that, there are other parts of India where, there is more gaps. And, because we are familiar. So that took us to Mumbai and Chennai.
Yeah.
So you have an us, but, we are probably the only university looking at 2 campuses.
Yes, this is the first university. Yeah.
So our aspirations are long-term. Our aspirations are big. So this is a personal philosophy of mine. As Vice-Chancellor, I'm telling my colleagues, I would like our India campuses to be Indian universities first, with Australian flavor, not Australian university in India.
If you could elaborate this.
So it's how you approach things. I'm going to give you 2 extreme versions. Reality probably somewhere in between. So under my vision, whatever we do, we want to keep India in mind, needs of our students in mind. And that's fully compatible with our mission. We are founded by the legislature of Western Australia 112, 13 years back, 1911, or 14 years back, to to advance the welfare of the communities that we serve. Okay, so we served, of course, Western Australia to start with. Now we are serving a little bit here, a little bit there, the region. So when it comes to India, we have to serve the needs of Indian students.
Will be
So
taken care of.
That's the main purpose, right? So that's one side of it. And how it will manifest? We don't want to we have to meet our regulatory requirements in Australia and India. Notwithstanding those requirements, where we have flexibility, we want to do things that are more appropriate for Indian students. Right? So what that could look like? Well, we know from our market survey and just general impression. So in India, education is still a means towards improving your, life.
Absolutely.
And getting a job matters, right? Getting a job matters everywhere, but it's more important within Indian context. How do I know? Because I needed a job. Now I kind of grew up in similar conversation. So here, the choice of our campuses actually took that into account. So in Chennai particularly, we'll be locating in the middle of an industrial complex.
Okay.
And the hope there is we're going to have interactions, collaborations with the IT companies in that area. And we are hopeful that we will create internship opportunities for our students. Companies will benefit, our students will benefit. That's just one. If we came here with the mentality that we're an Australian university, then we could have simply said, this is a pipeline for us to get some students, if you come to Australia. But that door is still open, but that's not the main focus. So second example of making it an Indian campus. We want to contribute to the articulated needs of the country by the Prime Minister, by the education policy, by state governments. And that also means a number of things, skill gaps, and we want to bring programs that are in need in India. And we also want to collaborate on research projects that advances India's research needs and complements our capacity. And they can be complementary.
Okay.
Example of that is India has a much, much larger industrial base than Australia does. As a result, Indian companies actually have a lot more practical research opportunities and projects than what our students can get in Australia. So even Australian students can benefit by having access to that large industrial base. Little things like, when do we begin our academic term? We haven't settled on that yet. I'm hoping that it'll coincide with Indian academic term, not Australian academic term.
Or the timeline, you mean?
Timeline.
Okay.
These are little things. And then, most importantly, we would like to recruit locally.
In terms of faculty members?
Yes.
Okay.
And we are confident, because of our experience, a number of our colleagues in Australia are of Indian descent. So we know the market. We believe because of our reputation and because of the way we recruit, we can recruit, high quality faculty from India.
Yeah.
And also expats who want to come back to India. So they're
from Australia?
From Australia, from US, UK.
Okay.
Right? Who, for whatever reason, want to come back to India or spend some years here.
Okay.
But would find more comfortable working in an environment like UWA. Right? So all those are factors. Finally, you said, Indian campus. I would like students from our Australian campus to come and study here.
Oh, like an exchange program? Or
I wouldn't call it an exchange program. I would say, well, it's part of your program. You get to study in Mumbai and Chennai for a year. Right?
To
So
get an
that-
experience.
Yeah, you get the cultural experience, you know. So that is a proof that we have confidence in the academic staff we're going to recruit locally to be able to do
And
that.
similar provision will also be there for Indian students to go there and study if they would like to?
Eventually. And the reason for both, you know, sides, the caveat I'm putting in is, well, we can admit students, we can come up with programs, we don't control visas.
Yeah.
So that issue has to be sorted out. But ideally, I'm hopeful that, you know, those would be possible because of the geopolitical relationship between the two countries. And it's growing from strength to strength.
Yeah.
You know, you can see it through various programs. You can see it through senior level visits. I'm here as part of a ministerial mission by our Australian Education Minister, Minister Jason Clare. So, you know, his counterpart is Minister Pradhan, who came and visited Australia last year. So he challenged Australia to come and participate in this exciting educational project that is underway in India. And I'm pretty sure he'll be delighted to see that number of Australian universities actually are looking at a serious.
So another thing you mentioned that there is a 10-year plan, right? What is this 10-year plan and what courses will be offered in these two campuses initially to begin with?
So here is the dream part of it, and part of it is more realistic than the other. So we'll begin with probably 200 students, give or take, just to get started. We rapidly would like to increase that to 5,000 by year 5.
Okay.
So that's, you know, kind of
Each campus or like together?
Together.
Oh, got it.
So the next phase is still in the dream stage. We would like it to have about, or at least I would say, 12,000 students.
Okay.
You know, 6,000, or, you know, some combination. So that will give each campus critical mass, you know, to do certain things. And we hope that, 10 years from now, we'll be looking at actually a separate campus with facilities, with dormitories and those sort of things.
So, and what kind of courses will be offered at both these campuses?
Initially, the Chennai campus will focus on IT,
Okay.
information technology.
Like a bachelor's course or master?
Bachelor's.
Okay.
Bachelor's, and we have now license for bachelor's, but we'd like to apply for master's as well very quickly. And then Mumbai campus will focus on business, same thing, bachelor's. But our dream is to, over time, again, we have to go to UGC for their approval. Right now, if we apply for those, they'll be just planned. But we want to be able to start at the undergraduate level and then build it up, demonstrate our capabilities before we go. We want to offer PhD programs as well, hopefully in partnership with Indian universities in the region.
Okay. So what is the timeline for the first batch right now?
So a letter of intent requires us to start our campuses within 2 years' time. We're working very hard to give it a go for 26.
Okay.
So we're hoping to start in 26.
Next year.
A lot of hurdles to overcome because this is December already. So if we are aiming for August actually. Say August can be September, we'll sort it out. But if for whatever reason, including we are going to lease, space and buildings, but they need it to be retrofitted to make them into classrooms. Even for that, number one, you have to get the job done. Number two, you have to actually get approval. So those are things that you are not that familiar with, how long time it'll take. So a lot of things can go wrong. If things do go wrong, there will be a slight delay, but we really are working hard.
The aim is to start by August, September next year.
Yeah.
So another question which is very important in Indian context, how will be the fees determined? Like by keeping in mind the fee structure in Indian universities, Like how, or will there be like some scholarships also?
There'll be some scholarships, but how the fees will be determined, we haven't determined that as yet, but I'll share the philosophy of it. So we would like to keep the fees in line with the total fees and grants we get for domestic students in Australia.
Okay.
So international students pay significantly higher fees than domestic
Local
students.
yeah.
So what domestic student fee structure in Australia is, it comes in two parts. One is a grant from government of Australia,
Okay.
X dollars. The other one is a student loan. It's still from government of Australia, but it's a loan. So when you combine the two, you get the net fee for a student, Australian students.
Okay, that's the formula being used here.
So we want that to be the guide, so that we are charging Australian domestic fees here. So inevitably they'll be higher than what the local university charge, but they probably would be in the range of what other international universities will charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other Australian universities are also coming, and some have established campus in Gift City in
Yes.
Gujarat. So how University of Western Australia will make sure that stands out?
How it will stand out? I'll give you a line that I like very much. At one point in time, I haven't seen the ad of late. Every car rental company had an ad that I like very much. We work harder, right? So we work harder, right? You know, two campuses is a good example. We're pushing hard. Our commitment is solid. We are looking at long term. That's why this statement that I made, we are going to be an Indian university with
Not
Australian
Australia.
flavor. I'm confident that we're going to do a better job than most others. So are we going to be the only one who can do a better job? Not quite sure. But what I can tell you is that this is a priority for the university. And universities have a lot of things we do. If you make it a top priority, a lot of good things will happen. I'm betting, if the others make it top priority, I'll be delighted. But I'm betting that actually they will not make overseas campus a top priority.
So you mentioned about the hurdle of visas.
Yes.
That is not just in the case of Australia. Immigration rules are stricter in almost all countries right now, especially the US, UK also, Australia also. So do you think that expansion and the international universities coming to India right now will help in certain way the Indian students who aspire to go outside and study abroad?
Yes, short answer is I'll return to that. Just to give you my perspective on visa, this might be new perspective to you. Even Indian visa is difficult to get for some people, including yours truly. And I know high commissioners, consul generals, and so on. So visa is a complicated issue. So the advantage we have is exactly what you pointed out. Because we are supported by both governments, and governments actually can make a difference. And there are general visa rules. So I'm hoping that as we do more and more of it, as you said, 5 or 6 Australian universities a year, all of us, I'm pretty sure, would like our students from both sides, Indian students to be able to work in Australia, internship, Australian students to be able to work in India, internship, to maximize the benefit. So I'm hoping that at some point in time, our two governments will sort out the visa issues.
This visa uncertainty is massive in terms of the US right now.
Yes.
So is there like some jump in number of Indian students coming to Australia in the last 2 years?
Yes and no. Not massive jump. And part of it is just, nobody knows for sure. I would say part of it is after COVID, there was a pent-up demand. So Indian students just shut up. And then it subsided a little bit. Will it pick up? Only time will tell. I want to make sure that for my university, it picks up because of our interest, because of our presence in India.
Yeah.
So we are sending the message out, and we have had good success. I've been able to convince a lot of students from India to come and study with us.
But there had been certain incidents like maybe an attack or something against Indian student or international student. But you think it's not in Perth, right?
This happens, if you think of, if I get into some untoward incident in India, that's one incident. That doesn't make India unsafe, right? So a long time ago, there was a serious incident involving an Indian student in Melbourne.
Yeah.
One incident, then it subsided. So you can't prevent things from happening. Things happen. The question is it on a larger scale? Well, the proud story I'm happy to share with you, Western Australia Parliament has 4 members of Indian origin, born in India. And when you see who elected them in those electoral ridings, we call it riding constituency, there are just not enough East Indians to elect them. It was the average Western Australians who elected them. So that's a sign of a mature, generous society. One of them actually is from the north. There are hardly any East Indians there in the north, but he gets elected. So it's just one example of many.
Okay, sir. So my last question is, sir, couple of years ago, some Australian universities had banned Indian students from certain states because of some fake documentation.
Yes.
There were allegations, right? What is the situation right now? This issue has been addressed?
I was not aware that some people have banned it, so they may have taken precaution. So Australian universities rely on agent network. So what we do at UWA is monitor the quality of agents. Poor agents not only do ill to the university, but they do terrible injustice to students.
Yeah.
They're misleading them. So we need to root them out. So we don't deal with students level. We don't ban anything, but we do control the agent network. So second thing is our government is also active to make sure that we are doing our job. Government actually evaluates our performance. So students who come to UWA, if they don't graduate, we get poor marks.
Okay.
If they leave the university with no trace, we get poor marks. So the government assigns a risk rating. We have one of the lowest risk ratings. So there are a group of 8 universities. There are 10 universities in Australia who have the lowest rating. Most of those cases where you have this sort of fraud involved, they actually happens not at the university level. There are a lot of private providers,
Okay.
English language or vocational thing. So they are not as highly regulated as we are. So for average Australian university, those sort of things to happen would be surprising to me. I didn't even know that you can ban a country or a group.
Like some students from certain states here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Students maybe, but I wouldn't ban a state. I say, on what basis? You can, refuse to admit students because of, ill preparation and so on and so forth. You may look at their files more carefully.
Yeah.
Certain schools producing sub-quality students. I think the best way of answering your question is, if you're a high-quality student, if you're genuinely interested in learning, you shouldn't have to worry about some of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, sir, today and share the insights. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
for watching ThePrint.